We know that parking is becoming an increasing problem for truck driving, both in the United States and Canada. The changes in the hours of service regulations putting additional stress on drivers to find a place to get their rest period in. And finding these places to park is becoming, as there's more and more traffic on the road, a greater issue. Drivers are not going to be excited about getting off to look for a parking place, getting off the interstate, and then not being able to find one. Also, a lot of times we'll find vehicles parked on exit and entrance ramps or along the side of the road, and these are beginning to pose safety issues. So the American Transportation Research Institute, ATRI, in conjunction with the Minnesota Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration in the states, has embarked on a project generically called Smart Park for Trucks. And Smart Park for Trucks is an attempt to analyze via video the existence or occupation of parking spots in designated areas. By getting this data using video technology that was developed at the University of Minnesota and putting it into the internet up on the cloud, then other entities are able to access the data to determine if there's parking available. One of these entities will likely be variable roadside signs that can provide drivers indication of parking spaces available coming forward. One of the other areas that we're all interested in is whether this can be communicated to a communications device in the cab of the truck, such as a telematics provider. PeopleNet is fortunate to be able to participate in this study. And again, to be sure, we're working on trying to develop a generic technology that would be easily adopted by other vendors in the telematics industry. As this is not about PeopleNet or PeopleNet's customers, it's about the industry and trying to address through research a significant problem in the parking area. So what we've done for our part is set up our own website in the cloud, and we access the Smart Park for Trucks website to get up-to-the-moment data about the parking spaces that are available at any point in time. This website that we have put up in the cloud is collecting the data from Smart Park for Trucks, but what we also have done is we need a way to geofence these various parking areas so that we know, or the communications equipment and computing equipment in the cab of the truck knows when a vehicle is in the proximity of a parking area. So we need a way to make that easily adoptable by anyone. And so we've come up with a way of geofencing the approach to one of these parking spots. We do this by drawing a geofence on the map. It is a very irregular polygon that stretches out for about 20 miles. After these geofences are put together, our telecommunications equipment, when it boots up, will once a day bring down the geo-coordinates of these geofences, and then it watches them until the vehicle comes within a general proximity. Once in a general proximity of parking, it begins to look very, very closely and identify if and when the vehicle crosses into a 20-mile barrier. Once it's into the 20-mile barrier, we're going to provide a notification visually as well as audibly through text-to-speech that will tell the driver that there is parking ahead, the distance, the time stamp of the data we're providing them so they know if something is out of date, and we'll also tell them the actual number of parking spaces as well as the ones available. Repeat this at 15 miles, 10 miles, and 5 miles, giving the driver a good idea of whether or not he'll find parking or she'll find parking if they pull off at this rest area. Again, then what we're doing is collecting data through the same software. We're collecting data about how often trucks in the program come near these rest areas, how many spaces are available when they do, and how often they actually stop and take advantage of it. And we're going to pull all of that data back together and provide it to ATRI, MnDOT, and Federal Highway Administration so that we can analyze the efficacy of this type of parking notification system. This is being done along the I-94 corridor adjacent to Minneapolis.